Welcome to Savona and the new Azimut S7. It's the third boat in Azimut's Sports Cruiser S range alongside the 55S and the 77S. It uses triple IPS 1050, so that's three 800 horsepower engines, top speed of around 35 knots, and they've used carbon fibre in the build to ensure that weight is down and performance and handling are as sporty as they can be, whilst including a voluminous interior. This boat here, starting price €2.4 million excluding VAT. Let's have a bit of a closer look. We'll start at the transom, where you have this vast carbon fibre transom door that folds down to become an extended bathing platform. In there's room for a tender and a jet ski. You can either have a 3.25 metre tender inflated or 3.45 metre with the tube deflated, and also get a jet ski in there as well. And we'll move up the passerelle and into the cockpit. The flybridge is smaller on this boat. It's a sports bridge, so the cockpit becomes a really important living area, and this one has masses of space. Nice big table there. You also have a wet bar out here, which means you can serve guests out here reasonably easily. Everything is standard except for the ice maker, but you get the grill, you get the sink, and you get a fridge. And then you have this huge aft sun pad area. Those little squares there pop up to become backrests so that you can be a little bit more comfortable when you're moving along. And there's some very clever storage solutions underneath here as well, which gives you quick access to a shallow locker that you can put in the hose, brushes, things like that. And then you have quick access down here, great place to stow the boat hook, lines, and maybe freestanding chairs for this cockpit area. Moving up to the sports bridge, it's lovely how they've got such aesthetic sympathy with the staircase here. It isn't just some stairs plonked in the middle of the cockpit. It looks like part of the design, but it's also safe and very easy to negotiate. Get yourself up to this sports bridge deck, which is small for a boat of this size. It's not a proper flybridge, you can't eat up here, but then that's why this boat looks so good on the water, because it's got this pert little flybridge. Really good driving position up here. You get yourself nice and close to the helm. Big wheel, it's clean, it's easy to use, and there's good protection from the windscreen as well. This little L-shaped seating area is quite clever. This section here slides to starboard, and then you have an infill cushion so you can create a small sun pad, and then you have a proper dedicated sunbathing area here. And we talk about carbon fibre, things like the mast, full carbon fibre, just what you want. You don't want big heavy items this high up in the boat, so make the mast carbon fibre, lower that centre of gravity. There's a great balance of style and practicality on this boat. It's a great looking machine, but they haven't forgotten about the practical detailing, like this excellent mooring arrangement back here in the cockpit. Huge chunky cleat. You have electric winches, you have rope bends, big fair leads, you even have dedicated little cleats to hang the fenders off, boarding gates. Really sensible stuff on a very good looking boat. Head down the starboard side deck, and this is where you find access to a twin crew cabin. You can have a single crew cabin and more storage, or a twin crew cabin accessed via this door here. And then you keep heading down these side decks, which gradually increase in height, but you've always got something to grab onto, so it feels perfectly safe going forward. And you come to this foredeck. There's an option to have a table here. You have an electronic bimini as well, which will pop up to offer some shelter. Dedicated sunbathing space forward here, and then that flattened off bow, that Azimut trademark, means that you haven't got sloping sides, and it's nice and safe and easy to work on the lines up here or use the anchor. And then you have one of the main benefits of the sports bridge, which is this enormous sunroof over the helm position, and it's glass infused, so even when it's closed there's loads of light coming down into the area over the helm. Now let's go and look inside. Now onto this interior. This is a new interior design partnership for Azimut with Francesco Guda, who's come from interior design, and that is obvious immediately, because this is a boat where there isn't a surface that isn't working hard, that doesn't look good. There isn't a boring angle, a boring texture anywhere to look. There's so much to entertain the eye in here. It's really stylish, it's beautifully done, and it sets the boat apart. It really does. Some clever thinking going on here as well, because you have the doors that slide right across to give you a really good inside-outside atmosphere. Then these two tables are completely independent of each other. They move up and down electronically, but you can swivel them around and join them so that you have a vast one-piece table, absolutely enormous, or you can use them as two coffee tables like this. And they merge so nicely with the outdoor seating area and the wet bar. Really clever bit of design. We move forward. Lower helm, set quite a long way back in the boat. The idea of that is to keep those at the helm away from where the wave impact might be. So as well as having a smooth ride, you're also set away back in the boat. You shouldn't feel the lumps and bumps quite so much. And you're next to the galley here as well. Great looking galley. They've worked really hard on the interior lighting on this boat, so there's strip lighting all over the place, really subtle, but works really nicely. There's little details that catch your eye all over the place. And there is massive storage and fridge space too. 2 deep fridges here, there's a fridge here. Everywhere you look on this boat, they found storage. Again, it's back to that theme of looking good, but also being practically designed as well. Because of how far back it is in the boat, the lower helm is set quite high. There is adjustment on the seats, currently at their lowest setting, but they are quite high, so they're a little bit of an effort to get up into, but once you're in, they're great. They're really comfortable, very supportive, and they put you in a nice position to interact with this helm that's ever so clean. Glass bridge, all digital instrumentation. You can configure them as you wish, and Azimut has a really slick boat management system as well that can be controlled from any screen. These two and then the two on the flybridge as well. And because you have the helm set back here, it means you get this wonderful focal point spiral staircase that leads us down to the cabins. We'll begin with the master cabin because it's really torn the rulebook up, to be honest. It's full beam, it has whole windows, but the configuration is completely different to anything else you'll see on this size really. And again, it's the attention to the use of materials and how interesting and attractive the decor is. I mean, look at the work back here. That could just be a plain headboard, not on the Azimut. All sorts of textures, colours going on there, and that's just one example. More spectacular lighting. But amongst that, great practicality as well. Concealed catches here, but then look at the size of these drawers. Massive storage all over the place. The curved cabinet to take the curved TV, put it right at the end of the bed, just what you want to be. It also becomes part of the cabin because that partitions off the sink, which is completely open to the rest of the cabin, which is stylish, but it also means that somebody can use the toilet and shower while someone else is brushing their teeth, for example. Again, it's beautifully finished. Proper shower door. Really nice shower cubicle. And one final little flourish is proper walk-in wardrobe. Moving forward, we find the guest cabins. Here you have the bunk berths, quite cleverly laid out in that the berths are an L shape, they're not one above the other, so the one below especially feels like you have more space. Just doesn't feel quite so basic as a more regular Pullman cabin. Then you turn behind and you have a really nicely spec'd twin cabin, generous berth sizes, and it's en suite. Then we move forward to the VIP. Masses of headroom. Again, really interesting decor finish. Love those lamps by the bed there, perfect for reading in bed in the evening. The whole bed lifts up to give storage. Loads of storage. And this cabin has its own ensuite as well. Just one thing to note, even within the same cabin, the textures, the doors are completely different colours, different wood finishes. You have matte grey oak there and then satin finish here. So what is the Azimut S7 like to drive? Well, it's extremely refined and unbelievably quiet. A really good GT cruiser for covering long distances fast. It'll cruise at 30 knots, absolutely no problem, and feel comfortable doing so. You have 2,400 horsepower on tap, there's plenty of grunt. As I said, it tops out at 35 knots, but as well as being a relaxing cruiser, it's also impressively agile and really good fun to throw about, especially at higher speeds. It really has a fantastic turning angle, which isn't something you'd always associate with IPS boats, but it heels really nicely, properly engaging steering, and even more fun from the upper helm. So there's a real Jekyll and Hyde thing going on here. It's the relaxed cruiser, but if you want to turn it on a bit, it'll reward you a lot as well.